Generic news template. Oh, Ubisoft, you did it once again. They've managed to make themselves incredibly unpopular with one of the most loyal communities out there, their own Rainbow Six Siege community. For those of you who don't pay attention to games media, or those simply not interested in Rainbow Six Siege, they might have missed it. Ubisoft planned to change Rainbow Six Siege for and because of the planned introduction of their game into the Chinese market. Unfavorable voices like mine would call these changes censorship. In a recent update for Rainbow Six Siege, several icons were altered. For example, the close combat icon had been changed from a knife to a fist. The icon for a killed player was altered from a skull to a crossed out body. The friendly fire icon was modified. On the map Clubhouse, skulls on the walls were replaced, slot machines were removed, a fluorescent light in the shape of a naked dancer has been remodeled into the shape of a hand, and blood has been removed from walls and the floor. That doesn't sound like much, but yet the community is outraged.
Fuck you too!
One of my co-authors, the one who writes the History of Battlefield series, yes, ESCalation isn't a one-man operation, is very angry too. And once I learned about the situation, I too became a bit agitated with Ubisoft. And alongside us, a huge portion of the community as well. In fact, so many that Ubisoft heard the outcry. In and itself, the iterations are no big deal. If there is a knife or a fist in the kill feed, masked faces instead of skulls on the walls really doesn't matter. There's a bigger problem behind it that has been lingering for a while. Rainbow Six Siege is soon to be released in China. Good for Ubisoft, they can reach new customers. Good for Chinese gamers, they get to play a new game, but sadly we will not get to play together with them. To publish a game in China, it has to be adjusted for Chinese sensibilities. That is to say, the sensibilities of the Chinese Communist Party censors. As most of you will know, the citizens of the People's Republic of China do not enjoy the same levels of freedom as we do here in the West. Artistic freedom is granted only as long as the Communist Party overlords approve. The previously mentioned alterations are a silly joke. They want to change overly dramatic representations of killing, yet animations of ramming a knife into someone's throat remain.
You can run, but you can't hide.
But why were all players around the world supposed to be ruled by the Chinese Communist Party censors? Ubisoft claimed it would be necessary to have one version for all the players around the world. In case you only have the slightest idea about how games work on a technical level, you know that's utter nonsense. And after feeling the heat, Ubisoft caved in and conceded, yeah, we were trying to bullshit you. The elements in questions were simple textures, in essence image files, nothing gameplay relevant. To give an example everyone can understand, when I, as a German, start up Call of Duty 5, I have the Nazi flags with the swastika removed. Yet a British player who plays on the same server as me has the very same flags uncensored with the swastika. The German and the British version of the game simply have different texture files. The same goes for sound files in games. Or how do you think it works that a Russian player plays the game in Russian and a French player hears the game in French even when they play together? And here comes the most absurd fact about this whole drama. The Chinese players won't even get to play with anyone else in the first place. Chinese players are restricted to Chinese servers. People from outside China will not be able to join. And knowing China a bit, there will probably be an extra region for Hong Kong. Maybe the people in Hong Kong will get skulls, they enjoy a little more freedom. Maybe Chinese players shall not start to ask questions when they see footage from the game outside their bubble, when they bypass their internet restrictions. So maybe that is why they wanted to censor the game for everyone, take out elements that give the maps their character and atmosphere. If you are of the opinion that video games are in fact a form of art, that should piss you off even more. The level creators, the artists, had a vision for these places, and now this vision was to be changed to be politically correct for China. All this effort put into censoring is a bad joke when you think about the fact that the game almost 4 years into its release still isn't bug-free. The hit detection is clunky at best, and even small issues take months to get fixed.
I have no idea.
The glitch that allowed defenders to make a window impassable took 2 years to get fixed. players turning into 2D sprites, bad clipping, rubber banding, general connection errors, animation errors, and the incredibly small map pool are all issues the game is facing. But hey, at least there's a new skin out every week that you can then purchase for real money, and they are supplemented with the even better €16 Elite skins. Wow, Elite! How about community maps? Wouldn't that be a lot cooler than skins? You could even sell the editor. But hey, let's put all our efforts into adjusting the game for China. With this recent censorship, Ubisoft backpedaled after the outrage got too loud. But this is only the latest outrage following a series of perceived missteps. There was the great idea to combat toxic behavior with an oversensitive AI system that banned Spanish players for using the Spanish word for black. Good for you, Ubisoft, challenging toxicity and stopping people from perpetuating damaging stereotypes. Ubisoft is the company that gave the only black operator in the game a mixtape, because all black people are into hip-hop culture. Of course, the French operators need baguettes and sushi for the Japanese operators. Will the new Chinese operator get some flight lice? Oh, me so sorry. We wouldn't like to perpetuate toxic stereotypes, wouldn't we, Ubisoft? That wouldn't be very politically correct, wouldn't it? This gets me so mad I'm almost ripping apart my lederhosen. I need a break, let me get some Bratwurst. They removed slot machines from Clubhouse because gambling's bad, okay? It is against the law in China to propagandize it, but yet loot boxes stayed in the game. Excuse me, alpha packs. Political correctness is only applied when it's necessary to make money. The toxicity filter was a half-heartedly implemented measure thrown onto the game because they were pressured into it by the likes of Kotaku, the uber-progressive parts of the gaming media. These were the same experts that dished out hot takes like disliking mobile games is due to toxic masculinity. Wow! Hard-hitting facts. No, it's not because it's an exploitative system. No, it's toxic masculinity. You hit the nail on the head. Ubisoft doesn't give a damn about how toxic the community is or not. What they care about is bad press. Just like they cared this time with the consumer outrage. Anything that could hurt the business. They will not take a strong stand politically. If you think the one thing or the other was a win for your political side, don't be fooled. They are not progressive, nor have they suddenly discovered that the Chinese government's censorship demands are ridiculous. Their banner is flying with the wind, not against it. Ubisoft tries to squeeze every cent out of the game. If that means bending to the one side or the other, they will do it, just like any other company would. The active dev team behind the game is laughably small, the patch and content support is incredibly slow, and the main focus is on maximizing the earnings. So changes for better or for worse only happen when the attention becomes so negative that it could hurt the company's market value. You can be sure that future releases from Ubisoft and other companies will be China compatible from the get-go. As Germany relaxes its censorship needs and games get re-released uncensored, China steps in to take its place. And because their demands are far broader than Germany's ever were, you can look forward to Chinese politically correct PC and console games.